Hello, welcome to CEO Insights. My name is Vitali. With me is Josh Block. Josh is the CEO of Block Imaging, and he wants to tell you about his new up and coming book called People Matter. Welcome, Josh.
Thanks so much for having me. It's good to be with you.
Oh, it's a wonderful. We already began the conversation. Tell us about your new book.
Yeah, so the book's called People Matter at Work, and in 2011, overnight, I became president of Block Imaging, a family business that has grown to now more than 400 people. And what was really unique about moving into the workforce is my experience as a young person is that work was a positive thing, that I was raised in a home that we kind of fought over the lawnmower. And we just thought that work was good. And as I became a young adult, moved into the workforce, I realized that lots of people were working for the weekends, that there was a case of the Mondays, and generally speaking, work was more of a have to than a get to. And so that really led to me asking the question, what if we could create a place where people love to work? And so over the last 15 years, we've really sought to do that. And then toward the last several years of that journey, really sought to reverse engineer and then put the story and the principles into a book called People Matter at Work.
Wow, what a journey. I mean, I can relate to it, you know. Yeah, as a kid, I thought, oh wow, it would be interesting. I was fascinated with work. Then I started working, and I go, wait, this is not. And then yeah, so we shift our perspective of work, and of course, depending on what our early childhood experiences are with work and our parents and so on. Tell us what is it that the book? What are the like key principles behind it? What do you want them to learn from the book?
Yeah, the key shift is a shift from me to we. And Stephen Covey talks about this in the Seven Habits, but this idea of when bosses focus on themselves and primarily on performance, they create a culture that's perpetuated by everyone looking out for themselves. The boss is looking out for themselves, the employee is looking out for themselves. And yet when we shift to a culture where people matter more, the bosses become leaders and employees become team members. And so, through living out the we cycle, starting with a deep care for people, there's three T's that we talk about in the book that lead to people feeling safe, seen, and successful. And in doing so, they begin to build trust, take ownership, and ultimately give back in pretty extraordinary ways that not only enhance performance, but also lighten the load for the leader. And so that shift from me to we, the book is really a bunch of stories because really stories are what make principles come alive. But the entire shape of the book is really getting people and leaders to shift from me to we.
That makes so much sense. And you know, in a living organization framework, which is very similar to your approach, we talk about maturity. We talk about both leadership maturity and people maturity, which is a little bit different, you know. But one of the shifts is that, yeah, I mean, when we're born at the age of three, it's all about me, right? I'm the center of the universe, and nobody else exists. Actually, you're just a projection of me. And then we find out, wait a minute, there are other entities beside us. Damn it. I thought it was the center. And but some of us never do, right? Some of us never grow up.
Absolutely.
So how do we do that? How do we, as leaders, how do we encourage people to shift from me to we? Give me us maybe a story, rather theoretical, maybe a practical anecdote from your book.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I really have been thinking a lot about the principles and the actions, but everything flows from our identity. Is what do we believe about ourselves and what do we believe about others? Is that a friend of mine, Dr. Kurt Thompson, says that we all come into the world looking for someone looking for us. And so there is this paradigm shift of when we're sitting down in a one-on-one or when we're having a performance dialogue or when we're talking about the vision of an organization or answering questions. One thing that we do in our organization is we're a question asking culture. And so whether it be at Block University, whether it be in an all-team meeting, which happens every third Thursday of the month, is creating space for people to ask questions because when people ask questions, not only do they learn and grow, but it shows us what is important to them. And so we get questions about everything from vending machines to benefits to vision for the company to concerns about strategy. And those questions really allow for a conversation. And when we have a conversation, we begin to tear down the walls between leaders and the team. And so that's one example would be having a question asking culture and really seeking to ensure that people understand not just what's going on, but what we as leaders are thinking about. And also, lastly, what we as leaders are thinking about them. Because
Mhm.
there's such a vacuum of feedback, is that
Yeah.
leaders are afraid to give feedback because they're uncomfortable for the other person, when in reality, most people in the world today want more feedback from their leaders.
Yeah, I agree. They want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be provided. If you, I mean, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, so relax. But I want to ask you to think of more like maybe a person. You don't have to name them, or you don't have to, obviously, but someone who transformed, who you from that me to we, and how they did it. Do you have any one person in mind, or maybe a group of people?
Sure. I mean, in the book People Matter at Work, which I have a pretty fresh off the press copy right here, which comes out in just a short period of time, we have stories called Keeping It Real. So there's a dozen stories within that are individuals who really came alive in a People Matter culture. But when I think about I hired a sales support person right before becoming president. Her name's Emily Jones, and she's sitting just a few feet away. And that sales support role, little did I know that she would become an executive assistant, and 12 years later would become our director of parts sales. And so seeing someone come alive, not just from a even care for people, she always cared for people, but see her grow as a business person and as a leader has been an absolute blast and privilege of my life.
Yeah. So it's like it feels like a direct how can I say, feedback to your philosophy, right? This is a person. This is no longer a theory. This is you've just enhanced her life and her family and others who are benefiting from her.
Absolutely.
Well, how wonderful, Josh! I wish you lots of luck. We need business people like you who not just who preach, who practice what they preach, and then write about it, and for so we can all learn. Where can I get the book?
Yeah, it's really available anywhere books are sold, and so Amazon is a natural spot. Barnes and Noble, and Books a Million. It's available, and then Simon and Schuster as well.
Okay, all three. Wonderful. Well, I would love to have you back maybe towards the end of the year. Tell us stories about the books or how you did your signing, the journey you're taking on this, because it is a journey, right?
It is a journey.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, George.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.